Wait, don't move to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas before you understand the area. And in this video, we are going to go over 5 things that you should be aware of before you relocate to North Texas. Today, we're going to go over the top 5 things that you should be aware of before you relocate to North Texas. Number 1 is going to be the size. 2 is going to be the weather. 3 will be property taxes. 4 will be business. 5, last but certainly not least, will be the activities that you can do here in North Texas. Hey everybody, this is Brooks Summer with Living the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas Life. And if this is your first time to our channel and you're wanting to learn what it's like to live, sleep, eat, work, play here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell so you can be notified when we put up a video about the Dallas-Fort Worth market. As real estate professionals who've sold thousands of homes, we've helped hundreds of people just like you relocate to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And we are getting calls, texts, emails every day, and we absolutely love it. So if you're considering a move to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, go ahead, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, because we'd love to sit down with you, help you explore all your options to find the perfect Texas home. Okay, number 1 is the size. North Texas is huge. It's 11 to 13 counties, depending upon who you speak with. Now, that's over 8,500 square miles. We are the 4th largest region in the United States. And to put this in perspective, it is the size of Rhode Island, Delaware, and Connecticut combined. Or you could also think about it as the size of the state of New Jersey. Now, when you do relocate here, you will need a car. And the reason why is that we don't have a whole lot of public transportation, and the public transportation we do have is localized to the major cities, Dallas and Fort Worth, and it's more specific to the downtown area. So whenever you're thinking about your relocation, having a good, reliable car, because everything's about 20 to 30 minutes away, depending upon specifically where you live, it's going to be one of the things that you're pretty much going to have whenever you live here in North Texas. Now, that said, we get a lot of calls of people who say that they're good with living 45 to 60 minutes from work. And when we look at that, that could be anywhere from 30 miles to as much as 60 miles, again, depending upon where you work and where you're going to live and where you have to drive through in order to get there. So a 60-mile radius is a huge amount of area to cover for that type of commute. And so it does help for us to know where we need to start in regard to where you're going to be driving into. So having a neighborhood specialist, and we are specialists in many neighborhoods, but having a neighborhood specialist for someone who's relocating from out of state isn't really the best solution. You're going to need an agent who is able to weigh all the different factors based upon where you're going to work, what amenities and lifestyle you like to live, and then your commute, and then put all of those pieces of the puzzle together to be able to help direct you towards a couple of options for you to weigh when trying to find the perfect Texas home. We recently had someone who was relocating. They're in the process of it here to Texas, and they told us that they were going to be working in Dallas. So we started their home search. We ended up finding them several new construction homes just to the east of Dallas, and they were going to be great. They were super happy and excited. And then they found out, well, they're not really going to be working in Dallas. They're actually going to be working in North Fort Worth. So the houses that we found for them weren't going to be 30 to 60 minutes away. It was actually going to be more like 75 minutes away. And so that really wasn't the right solution for them. But we did find some other areas that ended up having the exact same amenities that they were looking for and that we had found them earlier, as well as the same houses. So that's the great thing. Once you end up deciding that you're going to be relocating here, helping us help you by knowing exactly where you're going to be working, if that's going to be one of the major focal points for your search, helps us put the pieces of the puzzle together, again, to help you find the perfect Texas home for you. So another thing to be aware of before you relocate to North Texas is the weather. So the weather is another thing that you should be aware of before you relocate to North Texas. Now, we enjoy over 200 days a year of sun or partially sunny. So that means that you're going to be able to be outside almost year-round because our winters are fairly mild. Now, I remember growing up, one of my friends, his father had relocated here to North Texas from New York because he saw people in a November football game in the stands wearing shorts, and he decided that he wanted to enjoy a mild winter. And so that's why he came. And whenever I say mild, we really don't see a whole lot of snow or freezing temperatures for prolonged periods, so you're not going to have to really worry about winterizing your pool. Now, I've lived in North Texas for over 30 years, and I've only had to deal with winter weather in my pool 1 year. And so it's going to be very little that you're going to have to deal with something like that. Now, the weather here in North Texas for the summer can be downright hot. So this past July and August, we ended up having sustained 100-degree days, even in the 110s. So that's something that you're going to want to be aware of. But in order to cool your jets, we have over 60 lakes in North Texas, over 550,000 acres of lakes and reservoirs for fishing, boating, jet skiing, anything that you want to do water related out on the lake. You're going to be able to find a place with a lake no more than 45 minutes in the metro area. And so that ends up being a great asset. We also have tons of water parks, and a couple of them are even indoors. So there's not going to be a whole lot that you're going to have to do out in the summer that won't be water related, because we just have so many different places for you to enjoy. Now, one of the big questions that we get whenever it comes to weather is, what do you do about tornadoes here? Well, tornadoes are something that you're not going to be able to avoid in North Texas. We are part of this lower part of Tornado Alley. And we've seen tornadoes hit downtown Fort Worth as well as downtown Dallas. So there's not really a solution for that, except you have the ability to have a storm shelter in your backyard, depending upon where you live. But we've also seen people put storm shelters in their garage if you don't have a two-story. In a two-story house, the way that they reinforce the stairs is going to be another place where you're recommended to go if a tornado does happen to come through. But tornadoes, for the most part, are very rare here in North Texas, but it is something that you should be aware of. Now, hurricanes is more of a Gulf Coast issue. We do end up receiving some of the aftermath of a hurricane in regard to thunderstorms and flash flooding, and that can be an issue for some people. But for the most part, flash flooding here in North Texas ends up being something that is very minor, and it doesn't happen all that often. Not that it won't happen, it's just it's not really as big as what you may think from watching the Weather Channel. Now, the hail is something, on the other hand, that has seasons, and there are seasons where you are going to want to make sure that your garage is empty, where you can park your car and it's not going to be damaged by hail. Really, whenever it comes to North Texas, we do have a very strong summer, a mild winter. Tornadoes and hurricanes are something that you may partially experience, but for the most part, you're going to be able to avoid that. Hail is probably going to be the number one thing that impacts your life here in North Texas, and there's ways to work around that. The other thing that you're going to want to be aware of is property taxes. Property taxes here in North Texas, from what I've been told, are fairly high compared to certain areas. So what we see is that your property tax for most of North Texas is going to be about 2.6%. So we've seen it as low as 1.5%, and we've seen it as high as 3.3%, but on average, we see it as about 2.6% of what the county has assessed your tax value is. It's not necessarily going to be your purchase price, because a lot of people work and fight their taxes here in Texas to keep their property taxes low. Now, the property taxes we pay is only on our residence that we own. You don't pay property taxes on a car or things like that, like you'll see in other states. But for the most part, even with the property taxes, we've seen people relocate to North Texas and have an overall tax savings. Yes, you heard that right, an overall tax savings. Like, I recently helped a gentleman who relocated from the East Coast in the financial services industry, and he came from the New York, New Jersey area. Now, just in income tax capital gain savings alone, he saved $3,000 a month, and that was roughly the equivalent of his mortgage payment. So if you can imagine, he was still paying property taxes, but not as high a property taxes, but just in income tax savings alone, per month, he was able to pay the cost of his property taxes as well as his mortgage just in that savings. And we've heard the same thing from people relocating from California on personal income tax. The state of Texas doesn't have a personal income tax. And so what happens is that we have property taxes, and the biggest component of your property tax is going to be the independent school district tax, so the schools. And so this varies across North Texas, and if that is something that you're sensitive to, the property tax that you're going to be paying based upon being maybe a retiree, or you're not really wanting to pay a lot in property taxes, you're going to want to let us know that so that we can help figure out where the good places are for you to consider in regard to your lifestyle and work accommodations, and then also the property taxes as a component. Now, what we also see that you should be aware of is that the major national mortgage calculators take a multiple of 0.3% for taxes or 1.3% for taxes and insurance. Now, whenever you're using those calculators, you're going to want to go in there and change that and put it more about 2.8 or 2.9% so that you can get a more accurate accounting of what your mortgage is going to be for budgetary purposes. We work with several great lenders that will spend the time to address those questions and make sure that they help you based upon your purchase price, figure out what you're going to have as a monthly budget so that we can put all the pieces of the puzzle together, again, to find that perfect home. Business. Business is big here in North Texas. Our gross domestic product is $500 billion. To put that in perspective, if North Texas was a state, we would produce more than the state of Virginia. If North Texas was a country, we would produce more than the country of Poland. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have over 20 Fortune 500 companies here in North Texas. And so whenever people are relocating here, a lot of times it's their jobs that are bringing them here. And so if you are relocating to North Texas, just know that you're not alone. Every 3 minutes and 18 seconds, someone is moving to North Texas. Now, the reason for that is that we have the 5th largest concentration for a region of the United States in information technology talent. We have over 3,000 companies here in North Texas that deal with information technology. We have over 900 aerospace and defense companies, some of which are Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Halliburton, Bell Helicopter, and that's just to name a few. One of the major reasons why people are relocating to North Texas is just because of all the business-friendly and economic opportunity that is here locally. And some of those Fortune 500 companies are AT&T, ExxonMobil in Irving and Dallas, as well as McKesson in Irving. We also have American Airlines in Fort Worth. Their major hub is Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. And the great thing about Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport is that you can be on either coast in about 4 hours. So when people relocate here, a lot of times that they're needing to be close to Dallas-Fort Worth International because they're not having to go into an office, and a lot of times their office is going and meeting clients where they are working. And so that factor alone for American Airlines being the major hub ends up being huge for people relocating here. The other thing is the Southwest Airlines major hub is Dallas Love Field, and so Southwest Airlines ends up having a headquarters in Dallas. Then we have America's Builder in Arlington. D.R. Horton ends up being the biggest builder in regard to units produced in North America. Activities. Not everyone wants to work all their life, and so whenever you move to North Texas, you're not going to have to worry about it because you will never run out of activities to do here in North Texas. With over 200 sunny days annually, you're going to be able to go out and enjoy the 6,000 public parks and the 60 state parks almost year-round. Not only do we have over 180 golf courses, but some of them are internationally recognized like the Colonial. North Texas is so good for golf that the PGA Tour recently relocated to Frisco. Now, if golf isn't your thing and you're looking to go out and soak up some culture, we have over 124 museums and annually over 6,000 cultural events that you will be able to go and attend and enjoy yourself at. Now, whenever it comes time to beat the summer heat, we have over 550 acres of lakes and reservoirs. We have over 60 lakes here in North Texas, and so there's always going to be something to do out at the lake, whether fishing, boating, jet skiing, biking, wakeboarding. There's always something fun to do around water sports. We also have tons of water parks, indoor and outdoor. We have the horse track in Grand Prairie, Lone Star Park. We also have Six Flags Over Texas right next to it, Ripley's, believe it or not. There are so many things to do here in North Texas, and that's just to name a few. If you like professional sports, we have professional football, professional basketball, professional baseball, professional hockey, as well as professional soccer. So you have the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, the Texas Rangers, the Dallas Mavericks, and FC Dallas. American Airlines is where the Dallas Stars and the Dallas Mavericks play. But a lot of people don't realize that the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers actually operate out of Arlington. That's where their stadiums are. The ballparks and the football stadium in Arlington is right next to another great music venue called Texas Live. Now, Texas Live has activities happening almost year-round. And right down the street from there is Nokia Theater. So you're never going to be able to run out of things to do because there's always a lot of fun and excitement happening here in North Texas, no matter who you are. Whether you're looking for something indoors or outdoors, we have tons of bike and jogging trails in all of those parks. And so you're really going to love your quality of life that you're going to find here in North Texas when we find you the perfect home.